Contreras coming to you from Los Angeles. I am a Greek journalist. I appear on Greek TV both here in the United States and in Greece. I'm very well known by people both here in the United States, particularly, of course, the Greek community. I also appear on UCY.TV radio network. UCY.TV radio network here in the United States. It's an English network, of course. And some of the best authors, journalists, scientists, New World Order activists, 9/11 activists appear on this particular network. So basically, if you want to get basically the lowdown on what's really going on with the government, with the world today, with world politics, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, I suggest going to UCT.TV. So, that's just one other little thing that I have on my resume with regards to journalism and so on and so forth. So you can basically go to my Facebook wall. If you go to johncontreras.com, now you're seeing me on Facebook right now, but if you go to my Facebook wall, let me show it to you here. Here I am right here. Okay. If you go there and you scroll through basically some of my photos, etc., you'll find basically advertisements basically that I've made for my appearances on this particular network. Now, here it is right here. Greek News on Demand is the name of my show, which is based off of my blog website, GreekNewsOnDemand.com. Okay? The name of the network is here, UCY.TV. Here is my own homepage.
The statement was that we are living in a time that will determine.
And basically, you're hearing a live broadcast on it right now. Here's the link, UCY.TV. That's the correct address. This is my show. Basically, I have a show there every Saturday at 2 p.m. That is Pacific Standard Time, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It is called Greek News on Demand. You will hear the best news on Greece, the best analyses on Greek politics, on the Greek economic crisis, and so on and so forth. So basically here is the front page of UCY.TV. Here it is right here. So all you got to do is, scroll through some of the shows here. There's me right there on the front page. That's my particular link right there. The Corbett Report. Stephen Corbett is a very, very good journalist and activist. I suggest him. So this is a huge network, and, that's why I love to participate. And basically, I started off as an activist years ago, back in about 2007, 2008, whereupon members of my family decided to reveal to me a secret that they had kept from me, which had to do with the fact that they had gone to visit none other than Eustace Mullins. Eustace Mullins in the old folks' home he was staying in Virginia. Now, if you don't know who he is, basically, I suggest you learn who he is. Eustace Mullins was the greatest author, the greatest historian pretty much we've ever had in America, who wrote about the New World Order, who exposed basically the plans of the powerful Zionist Jews to take over America and the whole world, and so on and so forth. Eustace was profound. He was the protege of Ezra Pound. Ezra Pound was a very well-known, prominent Jewish-American poet who turned against basically his own and who started using his fame in America to expose the real causes behind the world wars, which were the Jewish bankers from London, the House of Rothschild, etc., etc. Many of you out there already know what that's all about. So, basically, what happened was Ezra Pound, during World War II, escaped to Italy and had a radio program from there, and he was broadcasting the truth about what was going on during the World War II, etc., until, of course, he was extradited to the United States, and He was then put in an insane asylum, St. Elizabeth's Hospital in Virginia. He basically, was brought here by the government, but, he wasn't convicted for anything. They didn't, charge him with anything. Because, as you know, that's how the government works. They want to charge you with something, and, they don't basically have anything to charge you with because they're liars. And they want to basically shut up anyone, anything or anyone that has the audacity to speak out against them and their crimes against humanity, and so on and so forth. So they kept him in an insane asylum for 12 years without any charges. He didn't go to jail. He went to an insane asylum. Okay? They kept him there without charges, so you know just how criminal this government is. And basically, he sat there and he rotted for 12 years, unfortunately. Ezra Pound, one of the greatest writers, one of the greatest poets ever in America. Ezra Pound. Look him up if you don't know who he is. So, Eustace met him in 1948 through a mutual friend. And Ezra Pound told Eustace, basically, since you're a young man and you are an up-and-coming writer, which he was, and since you have access to the Library of Congress, which he did, I'm commissioning you to now basically continue on my work and write books on the New World Order, write books on the illegal founding of the Federal Reserve Bank, and so on and so forth. Now, Eustace had no idea about any of this stuff at all. Eustace was just like, okay, this is all, over my head. I have no clue what this is all about. So, Eustace then basically began to do his research. And if you want to follow him, just go to YouTube. Now, all of you YouTubers out there already pretty much know who he is. You who like to expose the New World Order, etc., 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 through your videos. Type in Eustace Mullins. Here he is. Okay? Here are all these other different issues, too, here, that you can basically type in, related to his name. Rothschilds, the New World Order, Jews, Holocaust, etc. You'll find it all there. Now, when you go down, basically, let's just type his name in. Okay? You'll find tons of videos about him right here. See that? This is a really good one right here from the year 2000 that he did. Okay? He was the #1 writer on government corruption, on the New World Order, and on the Zionist Jewish control of America and the whole world, for that matter, for many decades. He was the last protege of Ezra Pound, the great poet and writer in America. And for about 50 years, he exposed the New World Order. According to the FBI, very interesting now, according to the FBI, he was the most dangerous man in America. Okay? That's according to J. Edgar Hoover. So basically, Eustace took over Ezra Pound's work, and he came out with his first book in 1952, The Secrets of the Federal Reserve, which you can find a free PDF copy of, which talks about the illegal founding of the Federal Reserve Bank, which is, of course, the scourge of all America. To make a long story short, Eustace, for decades, wrote the best books on the New World Order. One of his best books is called The World Order by Eustace Mullins. The Curse of Canaan is another very good one. They're all registered on the Library of Congress. He worked there. He had access there. All of his findings came from the Library of Congress itself. Okay, these aren't conspiracy theories. From top Jews in politics, Broadway and Hollywood, top political insiders like Joseph McCarthy, and so on and so forth. So, Eustace died in February 2010. Unfortunately, he was almost 87 years old. But in 2007, my family members met him, and what took place basically was something very interesting. I can't really reveal my family members' names right now, but what I want to say is that Eustace met them. He liked them a lot because they were researchers themselves, and because he was getting up in age, and because he knew he didn't have that much time left, he decided to hand over all of his work to one of these family members of mine, and that's what took place. So this family member basically, over the years, didn't really have the courage to carry on this work. So this work I'm carrying on myself. Yes, you heard that right. I am Eustace Mullins' successor. We have this in writing, we have it in video, and I'm going to be releasing a huge bombshell video about all of this. Anyway, so this isn't to brag. This is just to tell you people out there, basically, who was supposed to carry on his work. Now, as you can see in YouTube, okay, there are tons of channels here that have made videos about his life because in the recent years, in the past 4 or 5 years, people have really caught on to Eustace Mullins, and thank God they have. So, in effect, we are all his successors. But I will be releasing a video about this very soon, talking about basically how I am his successor. Now, let's take a quick look at him and hear him really quick. Here's one of his books here called The Rape of Justice, an excellent book on the legal system. So I'm going to enlarge this here. Let's hear him a little bit here from decades ago.
We double-crossed you. That's all he can say. That's his only defense. But by representing myself, you see, I short-circuited the whole system, and that's what you do. So no matter how unprepared you are and how scary it is, believe me, when I first went to court on my own, I was pretty nervous. And
so here he's talking about basically how he never had a lawyer in his life when he had to basically deal with legal suits. Because, you know, when you're talking about the government, stuff like that, they're going to try to sue you and put you in jail. He exposed the legal system. He was an expert on the legal system, even though he was not a lawyer. And basically, he's talking about here how, you know, he avoided basically the whole legal system by defending himself. And in every court case he was in, he acquitted himself, his own self. Let's go to another section of the same video.
From the IRS since. And so people ask me when I lecture, say, Eustace, what do you do about your taxes? How do you handle paying taxes? I say, well, I pay anything I owe. But I've never heard from them that I owe anything. So I said, they never call.
Now, that's very, very funny. He was a very humorous guy. He was a great guy. He's talking about here exposing, of course, the IRS, et cetera, et cetera. So, basically, Eustace was amazing. We are his successor. I personally am his successor. Now, this is my personal website, johncontouris.com. As you can see it here, for more information about me, JOHNKOUNTOURIS. That's my long Greek last name. Sorry about that. You can find all about me. I'm a Greek journalist, like I said. I appear on Greek TV, both here and in Greece. I appear on Greek radio here and in Greece. I write for a Greek newspaper in Greece, mainstream news Greek paper. I have my own news blog, which I'm going to show you in a minute. And, you know, I appear on other Greek TV shows in Greece as a special guest, and so on and so forth. I'm very well connected with Greek government officials, Greek intelligence. I know very well what's going on in Greece. Now, for those that would like to interview me, media, you have it, you name it, you can just contact me here on johncontouris.com on my contact page, which basically you can find here if you go to the menu here. And I will provide you with the best rundown on the Greek economic crisis, the Greek history, the Greek language, anything you want Greek, all things Greek, come to me, baby. I got it here for you. So these are the 2 books that I have written, which you can also check out. They're both temporary. Well, they're actually both now just on Amazon Kindle. Now, I may be getting these published very soon with Tex Mars Ministries, so that's in the works. We'll see if we can make an agreement with Mr. Tex Mars from Austin, Texas. The first book is called Your Academic Guide to the Greek Language, Culture, and Civilization. The second book is called Hellenic Crisis. If you want to learn anything you want to know about Greek, the secrets of the Greek language, if you want to learn about the glory and the power of the great Greek Christian Byzantine Empire, which lasted over 1,000 years, which is the greatest empire ever on the face of the earth. If you want to find out how the Greeks rose to glory and then fell to the Turks in 1453, and the real causes behind that, you're going to want to get my books. If you want to find out what Greece has been going through in the past 6 years of the economic crisis, I've got the whole lowdown. I've got all the real statistical data straight from the Greek government, the Greek statistical office, in contrast with all these clowns that like to go on TV and toot their horn about all this nonsense about what really went on in Greece. They have no clue. Now, just going back here, I have some examples of me being on Greek TV. Okay, here's one here. Now, what I've done for English people is English-speaking people is I've dubbed a lot of my broadcasts, which you can find on my YouTube channel, by the way. You can find that definitely on my YouTube channel. So let me recommend to you going to my YouTube channel, because there you're going to find a lot of my Greek appearances dubbed in English. So basically my website here is GreekNewsOnDemand.com. Okay, the name of my channel is John Contouris, but this is my little advertisement of my news blog. John Contouris is the name. Here you'll find all my videos. Okay, all my videos here. Click on videos. You'll see a bunch of stuff that I've done with Greek media, as you can see right here. I am also presently interviewing some celebrities in Hollywood for Greek media. Now I have a lot more than this. You just got to go through them. On this section right here, go to John on Greek TV, etc. Click on that. See that? It will take you to some of my appearances on Greek TV. I appear on the biggest Greek TV network in North America, Channel 48 out of Florida, with Angelo Angelatos. See all this right here? These are all my appearances, basically. So go through them. A lot of them, they're all in Greek, actually. But if you go back, though, to my video section, you'll find a lot of my stuff dubbed in English, okay? And that will be apparent from the title. So don't worry, it's not all just Greek. It's not all just Greek to you. So basically, this is pretty much what I do. I've listed here a lot of the other top blogs that I work with. The rest of my stuff. Now, if you want to go to my special section here on my book, click on that right there. This is my book, Hellenic Crisis.
This is the working hour.
I have a little promo video here. So just go down, actually. You're going to see my book right here, Hellenic Crisis by John Contouris. Now, again, you can find this on Kindle, Amazon. This book will tell you everything that's gone on in Greece. All the secrets about the Greek debt. It was a complete fraud and conspiracy perpetrated on the Greek people, etc., etc. You will learn everything you need to know. And all funds, all proceeds go to basically help me run my new media group, which is Greek News On Demand. The website is GreekNewsOnDemand.com. That's how you can find us, GreekNewsOnDemand.com. Now, this website is composed of some of the best. It has as contributors some of the best authors, researchers, scientists, etc., 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 from Greece that are experts on the Greek culture, the history, everything. Okay? So basically, if you go there, you'll learn all about us and basically what we do. And what I've done is I put all their names in English so you can basically learn more about them. Okay? If you go here to contributors, you'll find out more about us and, of course, the people that write for our blog, that contribute to our news blog, GreekNewsOnDemand.com. And you'll find out about them. And these are some of the top Greek journalists in all of Greece, researchers, scientists, radio hosts, economists. I mean, my God, you name it. So we have them here. This is why this group was formed. And this is going to be something that, of course, is going to be huge, because we are trying now, our goal is to wake up everyone to the reality of what's going on in Greece. It was a complete conspiracy perpetrated on the Greek people, because not only does the powers that be want their natural resources, which number in the trillions, they want to destroy the Greek people as a nation, because the whole New World Order centers around the destruction of the Greek people in general, period. That's really what the issue is here, because we are the light of the world. The Greek Christian Byzantine Empire is what was a moral preserving force in the world. For over 1,000 years, we spread the light of Christianity through the Hellenic culture to all nations. And of course, the Ottoman Turks were aided by the black nobility of Venice, which was controlled by a very powerful Jewish elite. And, of course, they, decided it was time to take down the Greeks, and that's what took place, unfortunately, in 1453, and then we were slaves to the Turks for about 400 years. And then we gained our independence in 1892, but we really didn't. We just passed from one despot to another, from the Turks to the House of Rothschild. And since then, Greece has been, unfortunately, slaves to the Illuminati in general, but particularly to the House of Rothschild, to the banking House of Rothschild. And we've been owing them money ever since because we took loans from them in the beginning. And the first, of course, Greek central bank was formed in 1842, which is none other than, of course, a Rothschild-controlled bank, and it still is today, unfortunately. So you'll learn all that in my Hellenic Crisis. So what I like to do, though, is get into the meat of this broadcast. This broadcast has one goal and one goal alone: to tell you the truth about the U.S. elections. Now, I don't know about you, but I've been fed up with the elections. Why? Because it's one big charade, it's one big show, and basically, we know that Hillary Clinton's corrupt. We know that she is a liar. I've written so much on my blog. It's ridiculous about Hillary Clinton. If you want to find out all the lowdown of what I've written about her, okay, here's what you do. And you're going to find the best number one articles on this. Type in GreekNewsOnDemand.com, skip the .com. Then you can type in terms like Hillary Clinton, okay? Hillary Clinton. Click enter. Then you're going to get basically broadcasts I've done on her with Greek radio, articles that I've written on her, and so on and so forth. A lot of them, of course, of which are in Greek, but I've published a lot, though, in English, too. And you can find that, by the way, on the English section of our website, which is right here. So let's go to the top first. Again, Greek News on Demand. So this black bar right here, English articles. Click on that right there. Okay. Now, this is all in English because if you go to the front page of our blog, most of everything, of course, is in Greek. Now, if you're an English speaker, you don't want to go there because you'll get confused, obviously. So this is it right here, actually. Let me show you. Here is the English page, English articles. Now, scroll down, and you're going to basically see tons and tons of articles that I have published in English. And basically, this is something where, this is something where I had to do for all the English readers of my blog, because the thing is that if you don't have stuff in English, then people are not going to really want to listen to you. That's here the issue here. So that's all for my English speakers. Now, scroll down. You're going to find everything you need to know. So the first article here I have listed here is Donald Trump, basically, and the 4 Jews that are centered around him. Now, if you click on that and you scroll down, you basically see the article here. It's from veteranstoday.com, a very, very good, reputable news blog. So you can find out the powerful Jews that are behind Donald Trump in a nutshell. The one person that really, though, concerns me is a guy by the name of Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon, who is the chief strategist in Donald Trump's new government, basically. Now, Steve Bannon is a former writer for, of course, Breitbart.com, but he is also a big associate of Benjamin Netanyahu. That right then and there, right off the bat, tells you that this is a very dangerous individual because he's connected with an even more dangerous individual, a murderer, a terrorist, a psychopath, a bloodthirsty nut job named Benjamin Netanyahu. Well, this guy, Stephen Bannon, okay, is connected with Benjamin Netanyahu, and apparently this is going to be the main liaison between Trump and Netanyahu, this guy Steve Bannon. So check that out, okay? Check out this article here in our English section, and you're going to learn basically everything you need to know about the powerful Jews centered around Donald Trump. Now, why is that an issue? Why is that a problem? Well, because in case you haven't noticed, The Jews have a priority over everything in this country. Okay? That's a fact. Now, the Jewish lobby, AIPAC, one of the Jewish lobbies, AIPAC, has been caught repeated times spying on the U.S. government. We have had Jewish spies repeatedly spy. It wasn't just Jonathan Pollard back in 1987, who, by the way, Obama was pretty much browbeated by Netanyahu to release recently. But there have been many others who have been caught and released. This is treason by our government. We have infiltrators in our midst. These people are dual Israeli citizens, and they put Israel's interests first. They are very dangerous, and Donald Trump will be working with these people, by the way. He's already expressed that his first guy he's going to put, the first guest he's going to have in the White House is none other than Benjamin Netanyahu. Okay? Benjamin Netanyahu, who, in conjunction with the Israeli Mossad, are the ones that pulled off 9/11. Yes, you heard that correctly. Now, if you don't know the truth about 9/11 truth, and you've listened to all this garbage in the media over the years, or all these other nonsensical garbage conspiracy theorists like Alex Jones who don't tell you the truth about 9/11, then you're not going to know. But the truth is that top politicians, top army officials, CIA, former world leaders like Cossiga, the former Prime Minister of Italy, Alan Sabrowski, the former Army War College dean, many other people. The guy who exposed Nixon with Watergate, very prominent Jewish, mind you, journalist, not Goldstein, I'm trying to remember his name right now. He was on NBC News a couple of years ago, and he exposed the whole thing. He said that basically this is all BS that Osama bin Laden did 9/11. We all know he said it was Dick Cheney, Bush, and the Jewish neocons. Okay? He said that, and he's Jewish. But many other people have come out and said this, and all the evidence points to it. Now, to make a long story short, go to Bolin.com, BOLLYN.com, and you'll get the whole lowdown. That's Christopher Bolin's website. Christopher Bolin is a very good writer and journalist. He used to be with the American Free Press. He's designed an amazing website that explains everything. You'll learn everything you need to know with Mr. Christopher Bolin. Just go to Bolin.com, or you can basically type in YouTube, and let me quick here because this is really important, particularly talking about Donald Trump and his associations, mind you, with, of course, very powerful Zionist Jew circles. Missing links. Okay? See that right there? Missing links full. Type that in. Click on that. Watch the documentary Missing Links. It was done by some friends, okay, which did an excellent job. That's the 100% truth, as far as we know, on the perpetrators behind 9/11. It was all the very powerful Zionist Jews that run our Congress, that run the Jewish lobbies, etc., etc. All the truth is there. All you got to do is be bold enough to look for it. Now, again, this broadcast is about Donald Trump and the fact that he's bought and paid for by Jewish interests. I've written so much about him, it's just unbelievably ridiculous. First of all, Donald Trump, just to go back to me, Donald Trump is born and bred of the Jewish Mafia. Okay? If you don't know that, then you know nothing about Donald Trump. And there's a bunch of people on the internet right now typing away feverishly saying, oh, he's the greatest guy in the world because, he's going to save America now that he's president, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And that, he doesn't have interests. He doesn't, he's against the Zionist Jews, or he's against the New World Order, or this or that. That's all garbage. I'm telling you right now, that's all garbage. You know nothing about it because you've been getting your news from pseudo-conservative websites like FoxNews.com, like Breitbart.com, like Infowars.com, which belongs to Alex Jones. These people know what's going on, but they're never going to tell you the truth because the moment they do, they have to mention the J word, the Jews. And guess what? They lose their money and their business overnight. Okay? Because unfortunately, the Jews hold sway in every major industry, government, media, Hollywood, etc., as we all know. That's a fact. Now, for those that don't know all this and who think this is all crazy and conspiracy theorists, I would invite you to go over everything I just told you, research it, and see if I'm telling the truth or not. Now, it is a fact, and you can type this in Google, Donald Trump is born and bred of the Jewish Mafia. His mentor was Roy Cohn, a very powerful Jewish attorney in New York, who was also gay and who died of AIDS in 1986. This guy was the former head of the Jewish Mafia. If you don't know about the Jewish Mafia, Google it. Now, back in 2011, Mr. Julian Assange told us about the Jewish Mafia. Okay? He warned us about the Jewish Mafia. I'm going to show you a WikiLeaks here, if I can pull it up. Something that's just going to blow your mind. Back in 2011, WikiLeaks leaked, back then, a very, very chilling batch of emails that exposed the Israeli government. Okay? Now, we're talking about at least 3,000 emails at that time, at least 3,000 emails, okay, concerning Israel. He did release that. Now, one email in particular, okay, it wasn't an email, it was actually a document from the U.S. Embassy of Tel Aviv. And basically what happened was, this document, as you can see it right here, this document was sent out by the U.S. Embassy of Tel Aviv to all the other embassies, U.S. embassies in the Middle East, warning everybody that the Jewish Mafia is alive and well, and that it's operating all over the world, particularly in the United States, and that the American people need to wake up to this reality. Yes, Julian Assange leaked that, guys and gals, back in 2011, and no one wanted to touch it. She isn't that something. Now, type in here, Google, WikiLeaks, Promised Land for Organized Crime. It's actually Israel, Promised Land of Organized Crime. Just click on that. Or type in similar terms. Here's what you're going to find here. Enlarge this. So, it says here, this is WikiLeaks' official website. Israel, Promised Land for Organized Crime. That was the title of the U.S. Embassy memo in question to all these other U.S. embassies in the United States, warning them, and of course all the American people, that the Jewish Mafia is alive and well and it's a threat to all of humanity, particularly to the United States. Click on that, boys and girls. I like it how a lot of people out there like to have their cake and eat it too. They want to listen to everything, of course, conspiratorial, except touch the Jew issue, which is the real issue at hand. Now, not all Jews are bad, I know that. Many Jews have exposed a New World Order, okay? Talking about the ones that believe in the satanic Judaistic religion, that believe they're better than anyone, that they have a mandate from Yahweh to take over the world, and they believe in this evil Zionist Jewish state that's murdering the Palestinians, that's committing all this genocide in the Middle East with your taxpayer dollars, by the way, because we give Israel $11 billion at least a year. I'm talking about these types. Okay, there's plenty of Jews out there who hate all this and don't want to have anything to do with that. Now, this, what I'm telling you right here, is real. Okay? This is the memo I just described to you. Do you see that? Okay? Read it for yourself. I'm not going to tell you everything here. This is it. Read it for yourself, because is that, yeah, people are waking up to the reality of there's corruption in the government, there's a New World Order, everyone's talking about it. Just turn on the news, Obama, all these world leaders saying we have to have a New World Order, which means we're going to do away with national sovereignty, blah, blah, blah. Okay? But unfortunately, they're not getting the real lowdown about this New World Order. It's the Jews that are behind it. They're the ones that are pushing for it. They're the ones that want a New World Order. They're the ones that want to take over the world. They're the only nation that has this complex that they're better than everyone, and that all the Goyim, meaning the cattle, meaning the Gentiles, meaning the non-Jews, will serve them one day because their God Yahweh will give them dominion over the earth, etc., etc., etc. They believe this way, and you people are supporting them. Now, with regards to the whole Zionist Jew issue, and with regards to Zionist Christianity, I deal with this exclusively in my first book. I deal with Zionist Christianity. In my first book, again, Your Academic Guide to the Greek Language, Culture, and Civilization by John Koutouris. Again, that's Your Academic Guide to the Greek Language, Culture, and Civilization. You'll find all the truth about Zionist Christianity, the fraud about Zionist Christianity. Now, if you want a real good video about it from, let's say, a top Christian pastor who exposes this whole farce that the Jews are God's chosen people and they have a right to be there in Israel, which, of course, they're not. Watch the documentary Marching to Zion by Tex Mars. Marching to Zion, Tex Mars. You'll learn it all there. Don't worry. Tex Mars has it all down pat. Now, I went and saw Tex Mars back, let me show you here, in, what was it, May or June this year? June, actually, this year. And I did an interview with him for Greek TV. If you go to just the side portion of my blog, there it is right there. There's Mr. Tex Mars. He's a great guy. He's a world-renowned pastor, Christian expert on Judaism, on Christian Zionism, on the occult, etc., etc. He's a great guy. He's very well known. He's also been on Alex Jones' show. He's been on all these top shows. He's exposed this Jew world order that's in the process to screw us all. Now, I'm saying this again because Donald Trump wants to give these people access not only to his White House, but to the rest of America's wealth and secrets. He's expressed it. He said it straight out. I had a small interruption. That basically, sorry, I'm having a little interruption because I have a lot of fans calling me right now. Basically, what he said is that he wants to give them Jerusalem. This is very disconcerting because he wants to allow the Jews to name Jerusalem as their capital. That's the issue here, okay? This is insane. This is crazy. This has never happened before with any U.S. president. He wants to allow the Jews to name Jerusalem their capital. Now, I'm going to repeat this, and I'm only going to say it once. Israel is not a Jewish state. That's BS. They like to say that, the top extreme Zionist Jews, not the good-hearted liberal Jews out there, let's say, for example, that don't like any of this BS because they know it's all BS. But, basically, the Jews like to call Israel a Jewish state. Donald Trump has repeatedly called it a Jewish state. It's not. Why do you keep saying that? Are you people that idiotic or stupid or treasonous or evil? It's not. Have you done any research? Did you know that Harry Truman made sure that this would not happen? When he was basically browbeaten, forced to sign an agreement between the United States and Israel, basically saying that the United States would recognize Israel, on all fronts, on all forums, like the UN, calling it a Jewish state. In this particular agreement, Henry Kissinger was basically, during this agreement, this signing, he was basically forced by the Jews to sign on to this. In the end, though, even though he signed on to it, he scratched off of the agreement where it says this is going to be a Jewish state. He marked that off, thus making it a dual ethnic state, meaning a state for the Jews and for the Palestinians. What a smart guy. What a brave guy. But you know what the Jews did to him after that? They screwed him royally. He died penniless, without a pension. They made sure that he would die poor and miserable and depressed, which unfortunately is what happened with Harry Truman. Anyway, it's a sad story, but Donald Trump wants to give these people access to America. He wants to give them full reign. He told Benjamin Netanyahu about a month or so ago that if he gets elected president, which now he has, he's going to allow the Jews, he's going to basically make this type of agreement between the United States and Israel that he's going to actually probably have to set this issue to the United Nations that Jerusalem is to be called the capital of the Jews. This is insane. Because first of all, 95% of the Jews today, they're not even descendants of the Israelites. They are the Khazars, the descendants of the Khazars. This has been proven over and over again with genetic studies from Johns Hopkins universities by Jews themselves. Jews themselves have written books about this, like Arthur Koestler's book, The 13th Tribe, that this is all garbage, that the Jews that are in Israel today are not the descendants of the Israelites, etc., etc., etc. So, This is all based on the fact that these people are the former Khazars, a warlike people who were formerly called the people of the serpent by many other nations. And they were the most hated people on the face of the earth. That is a fact. Anyway, it's a long story, but the point is, besides all that, the fact that Donald Trump is even cooperating with them, is even talking with them, with these criminals who have attacked us repeatedly through terrorist attacks. Yes, the Jews are the founders of terrorism. Watch that documentary, Missing Links, and you'll find out everything about it. The fact that he wants to allow them, to have even more access to the U.S. government, even more benefits from the United States government is just beyond me. This is treason. No U.S. president should be supporting Israel at all because they're an illegal state, number one. Number two, they're terrorists and they've attacked us. And number three, they continually manipulate our government, our Congress, through their lobbies, which all are operating illegally in this country. End of story. You want to argue with me, go search the facts for yourself. And you'll see, I don't care what you believe, what you think about them. If you support them, you're supporting the enemy, and thus, you are the enemy. Now, when I was younger and growing up, I grew up in church and everyone supported Israel until I woke up and I realized, hey, I'm a fool, I'm an idiot. I'm supporting the enemy. Anyway, it's a long story. So, Donald Trump, the fact that he's even supporting them is high treason already. And you could take that to the bank. Now, let's go back here to what I was covering here. All right? Now, Donald Trump, of course, is not going to prosecute Hillary. He said that in 60 Minutes this past Sunday night. He's already gone back on his promises, and you've all been duped, you who voted for him. Here's another interesting thing here, and this is going to blow your mind. Check this article out. Check this one out here. This is going to blow your mind. Donald Trump wrote in 1999 about Osama bin Laden attacking the World Trade Center. Wow. He wrote in his book, quote, "One day, we're told that a shadowy figure with no fixed address named Osama bin Laden is public enemy number one, and U.S. jet fighters lay waste to his camp in Afghanistan. He escapes back under some rock, and a few news cycles later, it's on to a new enemy and new crisis." Isn't that something? Let's look at this clip really quick from mainstream news media.
But let me show you something else. BuzzFeed dug up an old quote from Donald Trump talking about a large-scale terror attack 19 months before 9/11. In his 2000 book, The America We Deserve, Trump wrote, "I really am convinced we're in danger of the sort of terrorist attacks that will make the bombing of the 1993 Trade Center look like little kids playing with firecrackers." Trump also mentioned the mastermind of the attack, writing, quote, "One day, we're told that a shadowy figure with no fixed address named Osama bin Laden is public enemy number one, and U.S. jet fighters lay waste to his camp in Afghanistan. He escapes back under some rock, and a few news cycles later, it's on to a new enemy and a new crisis."
Gee, isn't that something? Now, how the hell would Donald Trump know that to write something like that? Huh? I got news for you. Donald Trump is good friends with Larry Silverstein, the former owner of the World Trade Center. Larry Silverstein is implicated in the crime of 9/11. Yes, you heard that's right. You heard that correctly. Larry Silverstein, the former owner of the World Trade Center, in conjunction with Ronald Lauder, in conjunction with George Pataki, former governor of New York, in conjunction with Rudy Giuliani, in conjunction with the Jewish neocons that ran in Congress at the time, in conjunction with Bush, Cheney, and all these people, crafted a plan called 9/11. This was in the works for decades, folks. Decades. The arch terrorist above all this, it wasn't Benjamin Netanyahu, although he played a role in this too with Mossad. It was none other than David Rockefeller. David Rockefeller planned all this from day one when he built the Twin Towers himself. So, Larry Silverstein basically bought the Twin Towers months before they collapsed. And oddly enough, he took out a huge insurance policy, $1 billion insurance policy on them. Gee, I wonder why. Now, people say, well, because they were old buildings. Well, they were still going to stand. It's not like they were going to crumble from a explosion or from a terrorist attack, right? So, in a nutshell, Larry Silverstein was involved in the attack on 9/11 himself because he knew what was going on. And he was allowed to buy up these buildings. And, of course, when they collapsed, he was allowed to cash in on his insurance policy, covering his losses and making like about $1 billion or more dollars, something like that, from what I recall reading. Bolin.com. Find it on Bolin.com. BOLLYN.com. You'll find it all there. Now, Larry Silverstein, isn't that interesting? Donald Trump has said in the past he's good friends with Larry Silverstein. Donald Trump predicted 9/11. He mentioned Osama bin Laden by name in his book, which he wrote in like November 1999, but then it was like published November 2000. Another very interesting thing happened in November 2000, ladies and gentlemen. In November 2000, a big, huge think tank in Washington called Project from New American Century basically drafted a report. This included Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld, Richard Pearl, Paul Wolfowitz, all these Jewish neocons. And they said America needs to expand its imperialism around the world on behalf of Israel. But basically, the American people might not want to go along with this plan. Short, of course, the new Pearl Harbor incident. Gee, I wonder what they meant by that. In other words, they were saying, we need a pretext by which to advance our agenda. And they got it. It's called 9/11. It happened about 10 or 11 months later. Yes, you heard that correctly. Another little interruption there. Sorry. Project for New American Century. You heard that correctly. Google it. Read up on it. They planned it all. I got a lot of friends calling me right now. You're seeing this live on Facebook, so I got to use my phone. That's why. So Donald Trump basically is connected with all these people. Okay? All right? All the proof is there. All you got to do is research. He knows these people did 9/11. He's part of the cover-up. Do you understand me? Now, what I'm also showing you here, too, is some other stuff, too, implicating the fact. And this whole broadcast, by the way, I know I'm going off on tangents. Sorry about that. This whole broadcast, though, is to just basically expose the fact that Donald Trump is nothing more than a fraud. That's what I'm trying to tell you here. He is a major, major fraud. His candidacy was predicted by Hollywood decades prior, particularly through the movie Back to the Future Part 2. In that movie, Biff Tannen is nothing more than Donald Trump in parody. I don't say that. Bob Gale, the writer, says that. He gave an exclusive interview to the dailybeast.com a year ago and admitted everything. Just watch the movie. You're going to see 100%. He was being prepped by the Illuminati from day one, folks. These people plan stuff in advance. Yes, there is a clique out there of elites called the Illuminati. Yes, it's all real. Yes, it's true. No, it's not bullshit, etc., etc., etc. This is real. We're dealing with enemies from within. We found the enemy, and it's us. The enemy is Donald Trump. Now, all these kids that are out there right now basically saying, well, Donald Trump is evil. They're putting death threats against him. They're saying all this stuff on Twitter, on Facebook. They're marching in the streets. They're going crazy because he stole the election, this and that. I got news for you. There are no U.S. elections. There are no U.S. elections. It's all garbage. Also, and I have proof, Donald Trump is related to Hillary Clinton. They are distant cousins. They date back to King Edward III. From England, Donald Trump is Illuminati along with Hillary Clinton. All these people are related with each other. Donald Trump is related to Hillary Clinton. I repeat, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are related. What's interesting, too, before I continue, is the fact that all these people are saying, oh, George Soros right now is behind the protests. He hates Donald Trump. He wants to take him down. Really, does he? Read this article here of mine. Anti-establishment Trump, quote-unquote, plans to appoint Goldman Sachs and George Soros insiders. What? Yes, you heard that correctly. You heard that correctly. Donald Trump, for example, has hired Steve Mnuchin, this was months ago, Steve Mnuchin, a former Goldman Sachs and George Soros associate, to be his pick for the new finance minister. Well, we don't say finance minister, the new Treasury Secretary. You heard that correctly. Steve Mnuchin. Gosh, what a sham. What a fraud. And people go around saying that, oh my God, George Soros hates him and wants to kill him. Really, does he? Or is George Soros the ultimate puppet master, the ultimate agent of the Illuminati who is used by them to deceive all of you? Which is exactly what's going on. And I feel for all these people in the streets protesting because they want justice, whatever that means, justice. You're not going to get justice by taking sides. You're going to get justice by taking a step back, taking a deep breath, and realizing, hey, this is all one big game they're playing against us because they're all part of the same team. And you know what's funny? Obama said that when he first talked about Trump's victory. He said, we have to basically now support Mr. Trump. That's what he said. And then he goes, because we all have to realize we're all part of the same team. Why would he say that? If Democrats and Republicans hate each other so much, and remember, Trump was lambasting Obama during the elections, okay? Saying he's part of, he created ISIS, my God. Then all of a sudden Obama says we need to all get along and accept Trump's victory because we're all part of the same team. Do you not get what's going on here? Hello? Anyway, this is the reality, folks. He's a big hypocrite. He's putting on a big charade, and George Soros is behind him. Also, note, George Soros gave money to Donald Trump back in 2008 to build his Trump Hotel in Chicago. Hello? Anyone home? Are you listening? Trump wants to invite this murderer, this terrorist to the White House, the guy who did 9/11 against America. Okay? Are you seeing this right now? Are you listening to what I'm saying? Now, let's go to a WikiLeaks bombshell. Gosh, I got so much to tell you, and there's so many people that want to talk to me right now. They're calling me. This is going crazy right now, but this is good. This is a good sign because a lot of people are interested in what's going on. Now, a lot of people are interested in the truth. WikiLeaks bombshell. Here's another article. Trump was a tool used by the Hillary campaign from day one. Yes, you heard that correctly. Hillary Clinton, basically, is not only Donald Trump's distant cousin, because they're both part of the Blue Bloods Illuminati. And you can look that up. Okay? Mainstream news media has talked about this before, particularly during the 2008 elections, whereupon, let's say, for example, Liz Cheney went out to the media, and you know what she said? She says, hey, I wrote a book. Obama's related to Dick. What? The media said, yes. She admitted that. Obama is a distant cousin of Dick Cheney. Gosh, I mean, I hope you people really listen to what I'm trying to tell you right here. Anyway, this is another article that I've posted on my site. Okay? This is going to blow your mind. Because we have 100% proof. Donald Trump is in cahoots with Hillary Clinton. Are you listening? 100% proof. Look at him here do the 666 with his hands here. That is the Illuminati symbol, what he's doing there, the 666. Now, I didn't vote because it's all BS. And if you voted for Trump, you got duped. And if you, who are exposing the New World Order and who pretend to know what's going on, and yet you went and voted for Trump, you're going to be held responsible for what you did because you knew better. You knew that the two-party system's corrupt. You knew deep in your heart Donald Trump is corrupt, yet you still went and you supported this guy. Now, don't worry, your vote doesn't count, and I'm going to get into that too. Okay? We have other WikiLeaks emails saying that the whole election thing is a fraud, it's a cover-up. There is no U.S. elections. Back in October 2008, Bush was already planning to hand over the government to Obama weeks before the elections, referring to him already as the newly elected president. Hello? That was October 2008. Now, here we have some more hacked emails thanks to WikiLeaks. Look what WikiLeaks released in October this year. The hacked emails released by WikiLeaks show an interesting tidbit about how the Democrats looked at the idea of a Trump candidacy. And you can safely see that all of the candidates Hillary actively wanted to face, Trump was on the list. Are you listening to what this is saying? Hillary Clinton handpicked these people. She said she wanted Donald Trump as her Pied Piper. Here is the email, okay, from WikiLeaks. That was provided us from WikiLeaks, which is from Hillary Clinton's camp. She specifically lists these guys. Look at them. Ted Cruz, Ben Carson, and Donald Trump. She told the Republicans, these who I want. These are who I want. And the Republicans replied, okay, dear, we'll put them in. Why? Because they're all in cahoots. I'm telling you right now, there's no such thing as Democrat and Republican. They are all Freemasons. They're part of the Illuminati, and they're here to screw all of you. Is it any wonder that about a month or so ago, both Trump and Hillary went to a huge Jesuit meeting? Hillary and Trump partying like BFFs, etc., etc., etc. Hillary paved the way for Trump to be the Pied Piper candidate. We have the email. We have the facts. Wake up, people. You've all been duped once again. For all the pseudo-patriots out there, and I say that lovingly, who voted for Bush and are still voting for these pseudo-Republican candidates, I mean, what have you not learned? What have you not learned? You knew better. You knew deep in your heart that this guy's full of crap. Honestly, how many of you people really followed, who voted for Donald Trump, how many of you really followed his life up until him running for president? How many of you actually really trusted him? I bet 9 out of 10 of you would say, if you were to be honest, that up until Donald Trump ran for president, I really didn't think he was really a moral guy. And he was just this reality star guy, a hotel owner, a despicable character in the media, and I really didn't like him. I bet in your hearts of hearts you would answer that way, wouldn't you? Now, after that email, by the way, which you just saw, was April the 7th, 2015. Now, about a month later, Donald Trump and Bill Clinton called each other. They talked politics. Both of them admit to this phone call. But they won't admit to the details. But oddly enough, though, a few weeks later, Trump decides to run for president. Gee, isn't that something? Now, I also wrote another article called "Is Donald Trump the Agent of the Clintons?" which, as you can clearly see, he is.
This is Ozzy Skateboard.